Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Ram Ram Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram
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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare Hare Ram
Ram Ram Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Ram
Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today reciters are Gaurangi Mataji will be reciting in Sanskrit and Sakshi Mataji will be reciting in English from Canto 3, Chapter 31, verses 17 to 33. So Gaurangi Mataji, whenever you're ready, can you please start with invocation 3 times? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna, all devotees, none but pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 17. Dehanya Deha Vivare Jataragni Nasiddha Binu Mutra Kupapatito Brisapta Deha Ichanito Vivasitum Ganayan Swamasan Nirvasyati Kripan Dhirva Gavan Kadanu.
Hare Krishna, fallen into a pool of blood, stool, and urine within the abdomen of his mother, his own body scorched by the mother's gastric fire, the embodied soul, anxious to get out, counts his months and prays, O my Lord, when shall I, a wretched soul, be released from this confinement?
Yene Disi Gatimaso Dasamasya Sangrahitaha Purudayena Bhavadisena Swanaiva Tusyatu Kritena Sadina Nathaha Konama Tatprati Vinanjali Masya Kuryat.
My dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, I am awakened to consciousness, although I am only 10 months old. For this causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the friend of all fallen souls, there is no way to express my gratitude but to pray with folded hands.
Mataji, I couldn't see. Can you little bit scroll? Okay, yeah. Thank you. पश्चात्ययं दिशगणया ननु सप्तवदिगृह्य शरीरकीदमशरीर्यपरः स्वदेहि यच्छिष्टया सं तमहं पुरुषं पुराणं पश्ये बहिर्हृदि च चैत्यमिव प्रतीतम्.
The living entity in another type of body sees only by instinct. He knows only the agreeable and disagreeable sense perceptions of that particular body. But I have a body in which I can control my senses and can understand my destination. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom I have been blessed with this body, and by whose grace I can see Him without and doubt.
सोऽहं वसन्नपि विभो बहुदुःखवासं गर्भान्न निर्जिगमिषे बहिरन्धकूपे यत्रोपयात्मुपसपतिदेवमाया मिथ्यामतिर्यदनु संसृति च क्रमेतात्
Therefore, my Lord, although I am living in a terrible condition, I do not wish to depart from my mother's abdomen to fall again into the blind well of materialistic life. Your external energy, called Deva Maya, at once captures the newly born child, and immediately false identification, which is the beginning of the cycle of continual birth and death, begins.
तस्मादहं विक्लक्लप उद्धरिष्य आत्मानमासु तमः सुहृदात्मनैव भूयो यथा व्यसनाम्येतदनेकरन्धं मामे भविष्यदुपसादित विष्णुपादः
Therefore, without being agitated any more, I shall deliver myself from the darkness of nescience with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. Simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into the wombs of many mothers, from repeated birth and death.
कपिलवाच एवं कृता मतिर्गर्वे दशमस्याः स्तुवन् ऋषिः सद्याक्षिपत्यावाचिनं प्रसूत्यै श्रुतिमारुतः
Lord Kapila continued, the 10-month-old living entity has these desires even while in the womb. But while he thus extols the Lord, the wind that helps parturition propels him forth with his face turned downwards so that he may be born.
तेनावशिष्टः सहसा कृतो वक्षिरातुरः विनिष्क्रामति कृच्छ्रेण निरुत्साहसुहस्तस्मृतिः
Pushed downward all of a sudden by the wind, the child comes out with great trouble, head downward, breathless, and deprived of memory due to severe agony.
पतितो भुव्या शृङ्मिश्रः विष्टाभूरिव चेष्टते रोरुयति गतिज्ञाने विपरीतं गतिं गतः
The child thus falls on the ground, smeared with stool and blood, and plays just like a worm germinated from the stool. He loses his superior knowledge and cries under the spell of Maya.
परच्छन्दं न विदुषा पुष्णमानो जलेन सह अनाभिप्रेतमापन्नः प्रत्याख्यातु मनीश्वरः
After coming out of the abdomen, the child is given to the care of persons who are unable to understand what he wants, and thus he is nursed by such persons. Unable to refuse whatever is given to him, he falls into undesirable circumstances.
सायुतो शुचिपर्यङ्के जन्तुषोडशदूषिते येषः कण्डूयने अङ्गानामासनोत्था न चेष्टते
Laid down on a foul bed, infested with sweat and germs, the poor child is incapable of scratching his body to get relief from his itching sensation, to say nothing of sitting up, standing, or even moving.
तुदन्त्या मत्वा वत्सं दंसा मासाकमत्कुनादयः रुदन्तं विगतज्ञानं कृमयः क्रमिकं यथा
In his helpless condition, gnats, mosquitoes, bugs, and other germs bite the baby, whose skin is tender. Just as smaller worms bite a big worm, the child deprived of his wisdom cries bitterly.
Ite, can you little bit down, Mataji? Okay, thank you. इत्येवं शैशवं भुक्त्वा दुःखं पौगण्डमेव च अलब्धा वीप्सितो अज्ञान द्विद्वमन्य सुचार्पितः.
In this way, the child passes through his childhood, suffering different kinds of distress, and attains boyhood. In boyhood also, he suffers pain over desires to get things he can never achieve, and thus, due to ignorance, he becomes angry and sorry.
सहदेहेन मानेन वर्धमानेन मन्युना करोति विदहं कामे कामे स्वान्ताय चात्मनः.
With the growth of the body, the living entity, in order to vanquish his soul, increases his false prestige and anger, and thereby creates enmity towards similarly lusty people.
भूतैः पञ्चभिरारब्धे देहि देहबुधो असकृत् अहम्यत्या सरिदाहः करोति कुमतिर्मतीतिम्.
By such ignorance, the living entity accepts the material body, which is made of five elements, as himself. With this misunderstanding, he accepts non permanent things as his own and increases his ignorance in the darkest region.
तदर्थ कुरुते कर्म यद्दो याति संसृतिम् यो अनुयाति ददत् क्लेशमविद्या कर्मबन्धनः.
For the sake of the body, which is a source of constant trouble to him, and which follows him because he is bound by ties of ignorance and fruitive activities, he performs various actions which cause him to be subjected to repeated birth and death.
यद्यसद्भिः पशि पुनः शिष्णोदरकृतोधमैः अस्थितो रमते जन्तुस्तमोभिशति पूर्ववत्.
If, therefore, the living entity again associates with the path of unrighteousness, influenced by sensually minded people engaged in the pursuit of sexual enjoyment and the gratification of the palate, he again goes to hell as before.
सत्यं शौचं दया मौनं बुद्धिर्यशः क्षमा समोदमो भगश्चेति यत्सङ्गाध्यातिसङ्गचयम्.
He becomes devoid of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, and all such opportunities. Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gaurangi Mataji and Sakshi Mataji, for the very nice recitation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sorry for mistake, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, we have beautiful recitations. Thank you so much. Okay, and thank you, dear devotees, for kindly joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and giving this opportunity to speak a few words on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so before we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, we shall offer Mangalachan prayers and then we shall start Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्तु ह्यभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृसतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी एते चां सकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकसधन्यं स्वस्ताय नमः कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेषा पुराणार्को अधिनोदितः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ति स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्तिदृढं पाण्डुषु त्वयिमेनन्यविषयमतिर्मदपति असकृत्रतिमुद्वाहतरद्ध गङ्गेवघुमुदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सकरुष्णुषुभावनिधृराजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरात्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न अपुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मर्त्यानां किमुताशशः पुनश भूयाद् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गाश तदाश्रयेषु महस्तु यामुपयामि सृष्टिं मैत्रस्तु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेणानमतग्राह व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादा श्रीविरितः सङ्गृह्णाति आकरव्रातात् अज्ञः सिद्धान्तसन्मनीन् ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू फॉर काइंडली वेटिंग Okay, I shall share my screen. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is the chapter. It is very beautiful chapter about the living entity, how it takes birth. So Lord Kapila's instructions and the movements of the living entities. So today in this session, we are going to cover slokas 16 and 17, where the baby, these are the prayers of a baby in the womb of a mother. So here, everything happens entering into the mother and womb of a mother through the semen of the father. The soul, taking the shelter of the semen of the father, enters into the womb of the mother. That is karmana dhaiva netrena jantuhu deha upapattaye. Striyaha pravishtavodharam pumsoretah kanashrayah. So that is once the living entity enter into the womb of mother. So in the first night it just like a small bubble. Kalalam tekaratrena. So in the first night it becomes a mix of the semen and then the ovum. So and then later it becomes into a small bubble on the 5th night, 10th night like a berry, and then later on it gradually lump of egg. So in such a way it gradually grows, and then in the first month, say first month it head forms, second month the head, and then the different limbs they get formed, and the third month the holes they will get formed, and then the skin and the nails they're all formed. And so in such a way he will be growing up till 6th month there. By the 6th month he starts moving, and then by the 5th month he gets hunger and thirst. In the 4th month the subdhatus are formed. In such a way the living entity transforms and grows in the womb of your mother. And then that one, whenever mother eats some food, the baby goes through different kinds of painful situations, and he stays in the puddle of stool and urine there, and there are some germs also. They will be biting him, and even though his body is so delicate, he will be just falling. He faints, keep on fainting again and again, because those worms they keep on biting him because they are also hungry, they also want food. So here in the sixth shloka, the worms are just biting him, the baby is crying there. Uruklesha, he is going through different pains. And then next 7th shloka there, whenever mother eats the spicy foods, katu tikshna rushna tikshna Vushna Lavana Ruksha Amladibihi Vulbhanaihi. Whenever the different kinds of spices he eats, the baby again Sarvang Uttita Vedanaha. He goes through again so much of pains by the different kinds of spicy foods. And then further, in the 8th month, the baby is surrounded by all the intestines within the womb there. Intestines, so those are the omnion covered, so not intestines, within the womb, omnion, placed within the omnion and covered outside by the intestines only. The child remains lying on one side of the abdomen. Okay, that is the 8th shloka. And the 9th shloka, so he's just like a bird in a cage. He could not move freely there. Akalpa swanga chestayam sekuntaiva panjare. Just like a bird in a cage, he could not move. So during that time, he remembers Tatra Labda Smriti Dhaivad. He will remember 100 lifetimes of his past. This is Karma Janma Setodbhavam. Karma Janma Setodbhavam. He will remember 100 lives of his past. And then thinking that, oh, again I have come to this womb of another mother again. Smaran Dirgam Anuchvasam. The moment is like, my God, I have come here again. So in such a way, Sarma Kim Nama Vindate, he would not have a peace of mind at all. And there his consciousness is because of Tatra Labda Smriti Daivat. by the divine arrangement. And then whenever it is the 7th month starts, then he will be moving by the air within the Sutivataihi आरभ्य दत्तमान मासात् लब्धबोधोऽपि वेपितः नैकत्र Sutivataihi Vishtabhuhu Iva Sodara. He could not stay at one place. He keep on moving within the womb. So then mothers, they feel, oh, my baby is moving, and they feel very happy. But actually, he could not be stay at one particular place. Vishtabhuhu Iva Sodara. Just like a Vishtabhuhu Iva Sodara means the germs are also within this womb. They're also moving. Just like a germs, he also moves there. And then later on, the baby, he started offering to the Lord because it is very horrible situation. Natamanu Rishidbhitaha Saptavadrihi Krutanjalihi Stuvitam Viklavaya Vacha Yenodare Arpitaha. Vacha Yenodare Arpitaha. He started offering his prayers to the Lord. So that is from the 11th shloka. And then in the 12th shloka onwards, the baby prays that he remembers the Lord. Oh, mighty Lord, because of my sinful activities, you have given this body. I am here. And also by taking shelter of your lotus feet, I would be able to cross these material problems. And then started offering. So that is the 12th shloka. And then 13th shloka there in his prayers. Oh, my dear Lord, I'm here, but here, even though I am in the womb of my mother, and you yourself, wherever the living it takes birth, you always accompany him, and then you are the only shelter for the living entity when they are in the distress. So likewise, yes, patra bhaddha iva karma bihavrutatma bhutendriyasayamayam avalambhyamayam aste vishuddham avikaram akanda bodham ataptamana hrudaye avasitam namami. Ataptamana Hridaye. He is for a distressed soul, only Lord is the shelter. So, and then further in the next shloka, in the 14th shloka, my body is made up of the 5 material ingredients. Now I am now put up into this body here, and have to act accordingly without any freedom. And then, but yourself, my dear Lord, you are not affected by 3 material modes of nature, or wherever you are living. So, and you are beyond this universe. I am offering my obeisances unto you. So, in such a way, he offering praise to the Lord. And then later on in the 15th shloka, and he, by the forgetfulness of the Lord, and his constitutional position and the Lord and the relationship, and because of that, he would stuck up into this material world. Okay, that is the Yanmaya Vuruguna Karma Nibandhanesmin Samsarike Padischaran Tadabishramena Nastas Smrutihi Punarayam Pravunita Lokam. Nastas Smrutihi. His remembrance is Nastas Smriti. He forgot about his constitutional position. And that's why he stuck up again because of the karmic activities. He has taken birth again. So likewise, I am put up here, and then in such a way he is offering praise to the Lord. And by taking shelter of the Lord, without the mercy of the Lord, how can I remember the Lord and come out of whenever I leave this material world again? At the time I should remember the Lord. But remembrance of the Lord comes through by the mercy of the Lord. So Yukya Kaya Mahad Anugraham Antarena. And by his mercy only, I would be able to remember him and then cross this material lands. At least this time, I will come out from the prison of this material world. So in such a way, the baby in helpless condition offering prayers. So today we are going to enter into 16th shloka that so the Lord always witnesses the living entities past, present, and the future. And then for him only the shelter is the Lord. There is no one else in the womb. Not only in the womb, we are also in this material world. Here also, we are just existing in it is universal, Brahmanda. Within Brahmanda, we are also situated in particular place. For all the souls, Lord is only the shelter. So this is the 16th shloka. And the 17th shloka, he says that, oh my dear Lord, I am in the body of some other person, and where I have put up into a stool and urine there, and then I could not stay there because of the hot blood here from mother's hot blood, the stool and urine. So I'm put up into this puddle. And then in such a way, when I would come out of this womb of this mother, likewise, he counts, this is seventh month, 8th month, 9th month, like that, in a very helpless condition. Okay, that is 17th shloka. We are covering 2 shlokas today. Okay, so we shall move there, and then 16th shloka going there. ज्ञानं यद्येतद् अददात् कथमः सदेवः त्रैकालिकं स्थिरचरेषु अनुवर्तितांशः तं जीवकर्म पदवीम् अनुवर्तमानाः तापत्रयोपशमनाय वयं भजेम. Jnanam yadyetad adadat katamaha sadevaha. Jnanam, the knowledge. Yat yetad adatat, and whatever the knowledge, whoever has given the knowledge to him. Jnanam yadyetad adadat. Adadat is gave. Katamaha, who other than Katamaha Sadevaha, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who else could give the knowledge to him? Tatra there. What is that one? That what 7th or 8th sloka. Smritir Dhaivad. So Tatra Labdha Smritir Dhaivad, by the Daivad. Sadevaha here. Katamaha Sadevaha. By his mercy, I am able to remember. I got this knowledge. And that Lord, Straikalikam Stirachereshu Anuvartitamsha, he always stays with us in the past, present, and future. Traikalikam, in 3 times, past, present, and future. Stirachereshu, either it is a living entity body, it can be moving or non-moving. Stirachereshu, and inanimate and animate objects. Anuvartitamshaha, and Anuvartita, his dwelling. Amshaha, his partial representation. And tam jiva karma padivim anuvartamana, and the Lord unto him tam jiva karma, and jiva is of the jiva souls, the living entities, karma padavim, the path of fruitive activities, karma padavim anuvartamana, who are pursuing. The living entities, they are always in the sense gratification, trying to fulfill their desires, but Lord is witnessing them in past, present, and future, in all times. But we just a living entity just not seeing the Lord, and then trying to very seriously engaging in experiencing pains and pleasures of this material world. Tam jiva karma padi anuvartamana. And now, whenever he is experiencing these pains and pleasures, he'll be getting fatigued and get tired. At the time, to get his shelter, free from all the fatigue and his tiredness, that is only to take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So here, Tapatraya Upashamanaya Vayim Bhajema. Tapatraya Upashamanaya. Tapatraya is from the threefold miseries. Threefold miseries, Upashamanaya, to get free from those miseries of this material world. Vayam Bhajema, and we, Bhajema, must surrender. We have to offer our humble obeisances and surrender ourselves. In such a way, one can get out of the miseries of this material world. One should escape this miseries by surrendering himself unto the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no other way. That all the Shastras, it is all our Acharyas and Gurus, Vaishnavas, they have practically lived like that, still living in a practice. This is one who is experiencing, they will come to know it. But sometimes many people may just hear, but experiencing and realizing, that should also go in the parallelly. Okay, so this is Jnanam Yajyetad Adadat Katamah Sadevaha Traikalikam Sarichereshu Anuvartitamshaha Tam Jiva Karma Padavi Manuvartamanaha Tapatrayopashamanaya Vayam Bhajema. The translation: no one other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the localized Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord, is directing all inanimate and animate objects. He is present in the three phases of time: past, present, and future. Therefore, the conditioned soul is engaged in different activities by his direction. And in order to get free from the threefold miseries of this conditional life, we have to surrender unto him only. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. There are 3 paragraphs. Can I request 3 voluntary devotees to read one devotee each paragraph, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read, please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. When a conditioned soul is seriously anxious to get out of the influence of material clutches, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within him as Paramatma, gives him this knowledge: surrender unto me. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, give up all other engagements, just surrender unto me. It is to be accepted that the source of knowledge is the Supreme Person. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mata smriti jnanam apurvanamscha. The Lord says, through me one gets real knowledge and memory, and one also forgets through me. To one who wants to be materially satisfied or who wants to lord it over the material nature, the Lord gives the opportunity to forget his service and engage in the so-called happiness of the material activities. Similarly, when one is frustrated in lording it over the material nature and is very serious about getting out of this material entanglement, the Lord from within gives him the knowledge that he has to surrender unto him. Then there is liberation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Pranams.
Very beautifully read. Can I request another devotee for second paragraph, please?
Can I read, Prabhuji, please?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. This knowledge cannot be imparted by anyone other than the Supreme Lord or his representative. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya instructs Rupa Goswami that the living entities wander in life after life, undergoing the miserable conditions of material existence. But when one is very anxious to get free from the material entanglement, he gets enlightenment through a spiritual master and Krishna. This means that Krishna, as the Supersoul, is seated within the heart of the living entity. And when the living entity is serious, the Lord directs him to take shelter of his representative, a bona fide spiritual master. Directed from within and guided externally by the spiritual master, one attains the path of Krishna consciousness, which is the way out of the material clutches. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely read. And can I request other devotee, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Therefore, there is no possibility of one's being situated in his own position unless he is blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless he is enlightened with the supreme knowledge, one has to undergo the severe penalties of hard struggle for existence in the material nature. The spiritual master is therefore a mercy manifestation of the Supreme Person. The conditioned soul has to take direct instructions from the spiritual master, and thus he gradually becomes enlightened to the path of Krishna consciousness. The seed of Krishna consciousness is sown within the heart of the conditioned soul, and one hears instructions from the spiritual master. The seed fructifies, and one's life is blessed. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. So here in this purport, the baby, the Jantu baby, so baby is going through so much of troubles there. In order to get relief from all these troubles, so we have to take shelter of the lotus feet, surrender ourselves to the lotus feet of the Lord. Tapatrayas. So this one, Tapatraya Unmolanam, Dharma Pronjita, Paramo Nirmatharanam Satam. This is where it is mentioned like as soon as one hears Srimad Bhagavatam, he would be relieved from the miseries. Tapatri Unmolanam. Okay, so here the main thing here, conditioned soul is seriously anxious to get out of the influence of the material clutches. But when he is very seriously angry, then the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within him as Paramatma, gives him this knowledge. Surrender unto me. So by Lord, he gives the remembrance, he gives the forgetfulness and the knowledge. This is Sarvasichaham Hridi Sannivishto Matta Smruti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Even the forgetfulness, Apohanam Cha. Veda Sarvairahamiva Vedjo Vedanta Krudveda Videva Chaham. And he is the only one to be known after studying of all the Vedic injunctions, all the Vedic scriptures. And then out of all those things, Manmana Bhav Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namashkuru Mam Yevasisi Yuktaivam Atmanam Matparayanaha. When he has to become devotee of the Lord, Matparayanaha. And then that should be only one point. Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi Ekehe Kurudandana. Just with focus on the lotus feet of the Lord and Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Raja. Mam Ekam. Only me, not anything else, no duality, no backups. Then only Lord will look. Otherwise, Lord will wait when you will, until we are surrendering unto the Lord completely. So here, it is to be accepted that the source of knowledge is the Supreme Person. This is by mercy of the Lord. The confidential knowledge, Jnanam Paramaguhyam me, Yed Vijnana Samanvitam, Sa Rahasyam Tadangam Cha Gruhana Garitam Maya, Yavanaham Yata Bhavu Yedrupa Gunakarmakaha, Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam Astute Madanugrahat. By my mercy only. By my mercy, you will get all my qualities, my pastimes, the knowledge about me, everything. Yavanaham yatha bhavo yidrupa guna karmakaha tataiva tattva vijnanam. Scientifically, tataiva tattva vijnanam astute madanugrahat. By my mercy, you will receive all these things. When you would receive my mercy, then this is when the living entity hears the instructions of the Lord. Lord says this to Brahma. Tvayaham toshitaha samyak veda garbhasya surukshaya chiram vruteda tapasadustoshaha kota yoginam. By taking my instructions, O Brahma, you have performed tapasya and austerities. That is, Tvayaham toshitaha samyak veda garbhasya surukshaya chiram vrutena tapasa. And you have done for a very long time. Chiram Brutena Tapasa, and then I am very pleased with you. Tvayaham Toshitaha. But Dustoshaha Kota Yogina, people who are just pretending that they are performing tapasya austerities like that, I am not happy with them. So likewise, Lord says here, but it is only for the person who is executing seriously anxious. And for them, Lord gives the knowledge. Matta smruti jnanam apohanam cha. And if I wanted to enjoy myself, going for eating and picnics here and there, then Lord also give the forgetfulness. If we remember the Lord, then we cannot enjoy the sense gratification. But however, that is, Lord does not stop us from sense, but whatever we do, remember the Lord in all times and circumstances. That is called devotional service. If we forget, that is sense gratification. And remember the Lord, and then whatever we do along with the Lord and as per the instructions. Okay, so and then through me, one gets real knowledge and memory, and one also forgets through me. And he makes the living entity Brahmayan Sarvabhutani. He makes bewildered the living entities. Sometimes like we think unless we feel I'm a dog, I'm a cat like that, I don't act according to the nature I have attained. So this is Brahmayan. In such a way, Lord also makes them to forget. And then they would act in according to the material body they have attained. So, and Lord gives the opportunity to forget his service and engage in so-called happiness of material activities. And so here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes, there is one Atmarama shloka there. He gives Atmarama a number of definitions of Atmarama. One who is enjoying in the self, he is Atmarama. And giving Atma for the soul, for the body, for the nature. And likewise, he gives so many things. People who are enjoying the material activities, sense, they are also called Atmaramas. In the means, in the bodily sense gratification. In the Chaitanya in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, 15th chapter and 16th chapter, elaborate description about Atmarama verse. So here, all the cats and dogs, they're also Atmarama. Those living entities, they're enjoying within those bodies. Of course, Atmaram, it is like generally, in nature, it is for Paramahamsas. Atmaramasha Munayo Nirgandha Gurukrami Kuruvante Ahitkim Bhaktim Ittam Bhuta Guno Harihi. And people who takes pleasure in hearing the Supreme Personal pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are the Atmaramas, real Atmaramas. But in expansion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu elaborately described in different angles to Sanatana Goswami and also Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Okay, so here living entity forget about the Lord and try to engage himself in the materialistic activity, so-called happiness. So similarly, when one is frustrated in lording it over material nature and is very serious about getting out of this material entanglement, Lord from within gives him the knowledge that he has to surrender unto him, then there is liberation. So first of all, that kind of realization needs to come, that I am in the troubles. So there is something beyond my control. So likewise, whenever he knows and small things, then he will come in contact with the devotees or the spiritual master and then inquire, Atato Brahma Jijnasa. That should come from the early stages of life. But whenever he is frustrated in lording it over material nature, because all of his plans will be cut to the pieces. Anyone's plans will not be executed, but they are in the positive hope. But they will say that even though it is not right, they will use good words. Yes, we are doing good, and showing it. The show off is required. Otherwise, this is Srila Prabhupada says, the so-called intelligent men or who is in their suit, something like that. It is like a poisonous snake, a jewel on top of its head. So because we be careful when dealing with the materialistic people. It is just a show off, but actually there is no rasa, there are no mellows of happiness there. So here, loko vikarma niritaha kushale pramattaha karmanyayam tvad budite bhavadachane sve yastavadasya balavaniha jivitasham sadhya chinati animishaya namostu tasmai. Lord Brahma in his place to the Garbhoda Sai Vishnu says that if one does not take the instructions of the Lord, karmanyayam tvad budite bhavadachane sve, and then yastavadasya balavaniha jivitasham. So they wanted to enjoy as much as possible, Jivitasham. And then, but though they have got hopes, Sadhya Chinati Animishaya, all of their plans will be cut to the pieces. Sadhya Chinati Animishaya Namostu Tasmai. Likewise in Brahma prayers. Here baby prayer and their Brahma's prayer. So here, such kind of, whenever we come to that point, the frustrated in lording it over material nature and is serious about getting out of this material entanglement, the Lord from within gives him the knowledge that desire, deep desire needs to be there. I wanted to get out of this material entanglement. Otherwise, always in the forgetful situation. So that remembrance is, first of all, this is Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Okay, those are the three stages of self-realization. And then further in the next paragraph, Srila Prabhupada gives, this knowledge cannot be imparted by anyone other than the Supreme Lord. This is Dharmam Shakshat Bhagat Pranitam. It is spoken by only the Lord. What Lord has spoken, everything is in the Bhagavad Gita. And in Bhagavatam also we see direct instructions from the Lord, like Chatushloki Bhagavata. And sometimes he gives instructions to Kaddama Prajapati and Prut Maharaj whenever he appears, and he speaks to Dhruv Maharaj. At that time, what are the words he speaks? And whenever he appears, Daksha Prajapati, Daksha Yajna during that time. And Krishna, whenever he is present, always he speaks so many things, so much of information. So it comes directly from the Lord. It is not that that Muni has said, this Muni has said, like that. But those Munis, they repeat the same message in a different context with different examples of the past times. That's why those also have got same potential as the Lord's instructions. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya instructs Rupa Goswami that the living entities wander in life after life, undergoing the miserable conditions of material existence. This is Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva. And who is the most fortunate living entity out of this Brahmanda? Guru Krishna Krupaya Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. Whoever receives the mercy of Guru and Krishna and with the seed of your devotion, so that living entity is the most fortunate. So this is, but whether all living entities would receive it? So here, when one is very anxious to get free from the material entanglement, he gets enlightenment through a spiritual master and Krishna. Through spiritual master and Krishna. Yata yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru. Tasyaite katita haddaha prakashante mahatmanah. That knowledge will be enlightened by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru. From the mercy of the Guru and from the Lord Krishna. Then when he has got that focus on both of them, tasyete katita shraddhaha prakashante mahatmanah, that knowledge will be enlightened within his heart. So this means that Krishna is the super soul, is seated within the heart of the living entity. When the living entity is serious, the Lord directs him to take the shelter of his representative, a bona fide spiritual master. So this is even though, for example, in our experience, the Krishna consciousness movement, it is established 60 years ago, but still we have come to Krishna consciousness in late life, because at that time we are ready. Even though before it was there, this was covered. This knowledge was covered. Krishna was covered. Even though we know that is called Krishna's. This is Naham Prakash Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavritaha. Yogamaya Samavritaha. And his knowledge will be covered. He cannot, even though Krishna is there, Bhagavad Gita is there, he cannot understand immediately. But when we are ready, when we are serious, when the living entity is serious, then Lord directs him to take shelter of his representative. That is how we come to the Krishna consciousness, pure devotees of the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master. This is one who is in that lineage. And directed from within, Antaha Purusha Rupena, directed from within and guided externally by the spiritual master. Antah Purusha Rupena, Kala Rupena. Kala is one is in the impersonal feature. Kalena Objecta Mutina. Kala Rupena Yo Bahihi. Samanvetya Satwanam Bhagavan Atma Maya. He will make the living entity to understand whatever is happening. One is if he wanted like a knowledge, spiritual knowledge from the spiritual master, that goes through. Again, if he wanted to enjoy material sense gratification, that also will be Samanvechasa Satvanam. So Lord arranges for all the living entities according to their desire. Okay, so once he comes to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, one attains the path of Krishna consciousness. which is the way out of the material clutches. There is Vina Mahatpada Rajobhishekam. Vina Mahatpada Rajobhishekam. Jad Bharata, he says that there is no other way. Vina Mahatpada Rajobhishekam. There is no other way apart from the lotus feet of spiritual master. Okay, and then further in the next third paragraph, therefore, there is no possibility of one's being situated in his position unless he is blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One either to speak about the Lord, Yatchakadhangam Matstotram Matkata Abhyudayankitam Yadva Tapasite Nishta Sayesha Madhuragraha. Either you are performing, you are doing some shloka, reciting some shloka, Yatchakadhangam Matstotram Mat Katha Abhidyankitam, and you're talking about Krishna Katha, either Katha, which is auspicious for all living entities, either that Katha, and then Yadva Tapasi Te Nishta, the determination and the austerities, everything, Sayesha Madhanugraha, by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead only. Lord directly says to Brahma, this is by my mercy, you are able to come to Krishna consciousness. You are in the Sangha and associating with the devotees, talking Krishna Katha, speaking, performing austerities. This is by the mercy of the Lord. You are blessed by the Lord. You are in the Sangha means you are blessed. When Lord's blessings are there, we need to retain those blessings. So here, unless he is enlightened with the Supreme Lord, Supreme knowledge, one has to undergo the severe penalties of the hard struggle for existence in the material nature. This is Prakriti Stani Karshati, living entity struggle for existence. The Lord says that Mamayavam Jivaloke Jivabhutaha Sanatanaha Manasastani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. Prakriti Stani Karshati. He struggles everywhere, struggling. All the going to the schools from childhood onwards, even children are getting struggled. Even to pass through that babyhood and childhood, it is very difficult for them because parents, they wanted them to go to the school and study and competitive environment. What do they achieve? Because everyone's happiness and distress, it is already predestined. For that sake, we will take all the small happiness from the children. But if we see in the at least couple of years back, few decades, 30, 40 years back, children are not forced like that as much as they can, but until they come to 6 years, they're always playing very happily, going to schools and coming and learning. Those are the school and they have got values, the learnings with values, behavioral values. But nowadays it's just only the marks and getting, but even are they learning also what they're learning going to school? Prabhupada says if you're going to school and if you're just learning from which is botany or zoology, those things, we learn those things directly in our life by practically living with the animals, living with the plants. We don't need knowledge. When we eat food, we know that it is going to digest it and gives energy and then it will pass on. For that one, you don't have to go to school to learn that one. Prabhupada says if they're not giving any behavioral kind of knowledge or God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, there is no use. And the other day, Prabhupada's conversations with his disciples. That is Prabhupada's instructions. So just to maintain the body as much as is required, that is sufficient. But however, it is not, we cannot revert back. We have been in this country, but it is not possible. But as much as possible, we try to keep our life simple. So this is struggle for existence. And spiritual master is therefore the mercy manifestation of the Supreme Person. So Anuratanam Shishyanam Putranam Chidvijottama Anapushtamifi Bhuruyuho Guruvo Dhenavachalaha. The spiritual masters, they're all Dhenavachalaha. They are inclined, always inclined to the conditioned living entities. And they will impart the very confidential knowledge to the person who is very serious. Anuratanam, Shishyanam, Putranam, Chidvijottama. So likewise, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes spiritual master. He will impart all the knowledge to the disciple who is serious about it. And then by that, the conditioned soul, and thus he gradually becomes enlightened to the path of Krishna consciousness. The seed of Krishna consciousness is sown within the heart of the conditioned soul, and when one hears instructions from the spiritual master, the seed fructifies and one's life is blessed. So everyone has got seed, but it is covering by so many layers. When we hear from the devotees, gradually that seed, it blossoms. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita krutsaroja ase sutekita pato narnada pumsam yadhyad urghari vibhavayanti tadhadvapuho pranase sadanugrahaya. And that lotus flower, it will blossom from the heart. Bhakti rutpadjate pumsaha shoka moha bhayapaha. As soon as that love towards Krishna, it sprouts, and that lotus flower, the blossom of devotion, it blossoms. Lord will come and sit on that lotus. Padbhyam nakamani shrenya, Padbhyam nakamani shrenya, Vilsadbhyam samarchitam, Krut Padma Kanyika Dishnyam Akramyatmani Avastitam. He will occupy entire the heart, our devotee's heart, and he will sit there. His lotus feet is Padbhyam Nakamani Shrenya, always glowing with the reddish nails. Nakamani Shrenya, Vilasadbhyam Samacchetam. And those lotus is always worshipped. Okay, those were Sud Padma Kanyika Dishnyam Akramyatmani Avastitam. It will those lotus feet occupy all the heart of the devotee. How beautiful it is, even for saying itself, we feel so much of happiness. That lotus flower, that lotus flower is pure devotion. Okay, that is from here, that whenever one hears instructions from the spiritual master, the seed fructifies and one's life is blessed. Okay, so here the baby in the womb is praying. Jnanam yad yetat adadat katmaha sadevaha traikalikam sarichereshu anuvattitamshaha tam deva karma padavim anuvattamanaha tapatriyopashamanaya vayam bhajema. Vayam bhajema. So how distressful he is in that condition. He is offering that prayer there. Okay, so there, and then further in the next shloka, 17th shloka, he again submits himself that I am in the body of other person in that womb where stool and urine puddle are there. I am, and also hot blood which is torturing my sensitive body. And likewise, he counts when I would go out, when I would go out. So that is this shloka. A poor soul. Of course, we are all once upon a time. Now we somewhere or other we came to, by mercy of gurus, trying to learn about our constitutional position. Okay, the shloka, 17th shloka is Dehi anye deha vibare jatragninasrab vinmutra kopapatito brushatapta dehaham iccennito vibhasitam ganayan swamasan nirvyasate krupanadihi bhagavan kadanu. Dehi anya deha vivare. Dehi, the embodied soul, anya dehe, of another body, vivare, in the abdomen. Jatragnina asrug. Jatragnina asrug. Jatragni of the stomach, Agnina by the fire, Ashruk of the blood. The blood is very warm in the body, so that mother blood. Again, plus Jatragni is there. Jatragni, it digests the food. Jatragni, and one side is the Asruk, is the blood. And these are all, plus what else here? Vinmutra, Vinmutra is the stool and urine. Vinmutra, Kopapatito, in the pool of the stool and urine, the baby falls there. And then and so horrible condition. Vinmutra Kopapatitaha, he fall in that stool and urine puddle. Brushatapta dehaha. And his body is scorched very strongly by all of these things. Stool, urine, and then Jatragni, one side is the blood, hot blood, and all of these things. Vinmutra Kopapatito, Brushatapta dehaha, Tapta dehaha. And then because of those things, he counts. Ichennito Vyavasitam Ganayan Swamasan. Ichennito. And he is desiring itaha from that place, Vyavasitam, to get out of that place. Ganayan Swamasan. He is counting his months. How many months? Am I in the 7th month, 8th month, or 9th month? Sometimes if baby is too very hurry, I do not want to stay even for a moment, then there may be sometimes we may see premature babies. So could be that reason. So because of baby could not stay and his prayer is so strong, he wanted to come out very quickly. So we could contemplate on that. So Ichcheneto Vyavasitam Ganayan Somasan. But sometimes outside reasons may be different, maybe because of mother feels some kind of disease or baby is in different positions, so we have to take out. But internally, baby is feeling a different prayers. So here, baby is Ichinito Vivisam Ganayan Swamas, and he is counting. I do not want it to stay here anymore. It is very dirty place. I wanted to go out of from here. So likewise, baby prays. And Nirvyasate, and when he will be released. Nirvyasate will be released. Krupana Dihi, person of miserly intelligence. Krupana Dihi, it is person of miserly intelligence. And Bhagavan Kadanu, oh my dear Lord, when I would go out of this womb, from this womb of my mother, likewise baby prays. I was also surprised whenever I see such kind of words in the beginning, first time. I was surprised. Oh, baby is going through so much of distress in the womb. Okay. So Dehi Anya Dehi Vivare Jatragninasrug Vinmotrukuk Patito Brushatapta Dehaha Itchenito Vivsum Ganayan Swamasan Nirvyasate Krupadihi Bhagavan Kadanu. The translation: fallen into a pool of blood, stool, and urine within the abdomen of his mother, his own body scorched by the mother's gastric fire. The embodied soul, anxious to get out, counts his months and prays, "O my Lord, when shall I, wretched soul, be released from this confinement?" Report by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, there are 2 paragraphs. Can I request 2 voluntary devotees to read? One devotee read first paragraph, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read it, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Thank you so much. The precarious condition of the living entity within the womb of his mother is described here. On one side of where the child is floating is the heat of gastric fire, and on the other side are the urine, stool, blood, and discharges. After 7 months, the child who has regained his consciousness feels the horrible condition of his existence and prays to the Lord. Counting the months until his release, he becomes greatly anxious to get out of the confinement. The so called civilized man does not take the account of this horrible condition of life, and sometimes, for the purpose of sense gratification, he tries to kill the child by methods of contraception or abortion. Unserious about the horrible condition in the womb, such persons continue in materialism, grossly misusing the chance of the human form of life. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Can I request other devotee read the next paragraph, please?
Can I read?
Yes, Mataji, please. Yes.
The word Kripanadrit is significantly in this verse. The means intelligent, and Kripana means miserly. Conditional life is for person who are of miserly intelligence or who do not properly utilize their intelligence. In the human form of the life, the intelligence is developed, and one has to utilize that developed intelligence to get out of the cycle of birth and death. One who does not do so is miserable, just like a person who has immense wealth but do not utilize it. Keep it simply to say, a person who does not actually utilize his human intelligence to get out of the clutches of Maya, the cycle of birth and death is accepted as miserly. The exact opposite of miserly is udara, very magnanimous. The Brahmana is called Udara because he utilizes his human intelligence for spiritual realization. He uses the intelligence to preach Krishna conscious for the benefit of public, and therefore he is magnanimous.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhupada.
Okay, so here, Prabhupada in the first paragraph, the horrible condition of the living entity, it is describing, it is very, even for when we are living, sometimes we go through the different areas as well. There itself, for few moments to stay next to the, the drainage lanes there, it is, we just keep our nose and the mouth, everything covered, and then just we go. But here, the baby's condition, he's always there for so many months. And he cannot also close his nose and mouth. And then it goes, water goes in there, secretions, everything goes into his mouth, and then he swallows there itself. He does everything. That is the condition of a baby. He's a precarious condition of living in the womb of his mother is described here. On one side, where the child is floating, is the heat of gastric fire. This is Jataragni. And the other side, or urine, stool, blood, and discharges. So it is a precarious condition, 7 months, and then when he regains the consciousness, this is Saptaman Masad Labda Bodho Vivepitaha. In the 7th month, he gains the consciousness, Saptaman, in the seventh month, and he feels the horrible condition of his existence and prays to the Lord, counting months until his release. So this he becomes greatly anxious to get out of the confinement, but that is the condition of living in. But he forgets as soon as he touches the ground, comes out of the womb of mother, he forgets everything. So, but so-called civilization does not take account of this horrible condition of life, and sometimes for the purpose of sense gratification, he tries to kill the child by methods of contraception or abortion. If we look back again a few years back, people are many origin civilization. We live like in the Varnashrama Dharma. Everyone goes to, there are no many doctors, but system was so perfect. But at the time, everyone follows the instructions, either union of husband and wife to beget a child in appropriate time. There is supervision of the parents. But later on, due to the degradation, modern science, and all these things gone, this is adharma. This is the irreligion. Arjuna Vishada Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, he put so many submissions to Krishna. Oh Krishna, if elders die and the women in the home, the family women, they will be polluted, and there is no one to lead the family. But here, to lead the child, to give good knowledge to the children. But nowadays, even the parents are there, they are sending children to the school where they do not have good education availability there. So education means educating the behavior, molding the character building according to the Aryan civilization. But there in the school, they will teach these things, the sense gratificatory things, how to secure the job like that. But they don't teach the character building. It's a freedom of speech. Under the name of freedom of speech, they will make the child to just, you can go anyway as you like that, without controlling. That is how the problems will come into the society. And by within those things, they are also here for sense gratification purposes. They try to kill a child by methods of contraception or abortion. This human life, it is like very rare in the Bhagavatam. I think Krishna describes Nrudeha Madhyam, Sulabham Sudharlabham, and Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam. Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam, where Guru, the spiritual master, is the captain of the boat, Guru Karnadharam, and then he will make it is very rare, Nudeha Madhyam, Sulabham, Sudurlabham, Plavam Sukalpam, Guru Karnadharam, Maya Anukulena, Krishna says to Uddhava, Maya Anukulena, Nabasvareti. And one, just like in the sky, when due to the wind, the clouds move in such a way, by the mercy of the Lord, if the living entity moves with the devotional service, he will easily cross this material science. Maya anukulena nabasvareti. In such a way, if he does not take the opportunity to cross, bhavabdim nataret, if he does not cross this material essence, when he has got a human body, spiritual master, then puman sa atmaha, he is called the killer of his own soul. Krishna says to Uddhava. But here, by forgetting all those things, people, they absorb in the sense gratification, grossly misusing the chance of human form of life. They are called sa atmaha, the killer of their own soul. Because we speak in our life, we speak very few words. Everyone's speech is limited, but one may speak for a couple of years, maybe 60 years or 70 years, but it is not also continuous. Very sometimes only we speak, but what we speak, it should be completely assessed, whether it is Krishna's, whatever Krishna Upadesha, that must be spoken. Okay, so further it is described the word Krupanaha, Krupana Brahmana. These are the two. Krupanaha Palahetavaha. Krishna describes in the Karma Yoga 3rd chapter there. Krupanaha Palahetavaha. Who is a miserly person, he tries to enjoy the fruit results of his fruitive actions. And whereas the Brahmana, he will utilize everything. Pranaihi Addaihi Diyavacha Shreya Acharanam Sada, for the auspicious of everyone. Shreya. Shreya means for long, in a long term. Long term in the sense, Shash, which is eternal. Whereas Krupana, for the time being, he wanted to enjoy the sense gratification. It doesn't matter what happens to the future. That is Krupana. Krupana Hapalahetava. Whereas opposite is the Brahmana. Okay, so and then further, in the human form of life, the intelligence is developed. And one has to utilize the developed intelligence to get out of the cycle of birth and death. This is one is a intelligent. Tasya hetoho prayeteto kovidho na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha. And he, in the Narada Muni says, Tasya hetoho prayeteto kovidaha na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha tal labhyate dukvad anyataha sukam kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. One would get pains and pleasures in any part of the life, either cats and dogs or humans, it is common across. But a co with intelligence, he would always search for an object which is not available for all the living entities or within the 14 planet systems. That is devotional service, which is only the source to go out of this universe from all kinds of miseries. But Kovidaha, this intelligence, whenever intelligent person searches for that one, that is trying to hold the lotus feet of the Lord. By that one can cross this materialness science. He is called Dhautatma. Dhautatma Purushaha Krishna Padamulam Namunchati Mukta Sarup Parikleshaha Pantaha Swasaranam Yatha. After going through so many lifetimes, now he has got the lotus feet of the Lord. He does not leave. That is intelligent person. It's just like when a person traveling across so many places, he got tired. Once he comes home and then he feels relaxed. Swasaranam Yatha, like he comes back to Godhead, back to home. So here, one who does not do so is a miser, just like a person who has immense wealth but does not utilize it, keeping it simply to see. Okay, that it is a miser or called lobhi. He does not spend for the proper causes. And a person who does not actually utilize this human intelligence to get out of the clutches of Maya, the cycle of birth and death, is accepted as a miserly. The exact opposite of miserly is Udara. And he is very magnanimous. A Brahmana is called Udara because he utilizes his human intelligence for spiritual realization. So that's why he's Brahmana. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. Who knows about the Brahman? He is Brahmana. And he uses that intelligence to preach Krishna consciousness for the benefit of the public. एतावत् जन्म लोकेऽस्मिन् देहेषु इह देहिनां प्राणैः अद्दैः धिया वाचा श्रेय आचरणं सदा. All the time, Shreya Acharanam. Sada, all the time. And therefore he is magnanimous. Okay, that is description of Brahmana and Kurupana. So here, baby in the womb, he is in a helpless condition, counting the number of months when I would go out of from the womb of my mother. So likewise, there are beautiful shlokas also again next. They are very nice. So here, this is 14th, 15th, and then the 16th. Baby is praying here in the 17th shloka, counting the number of months. Okay, so there I stop. And I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions or you want to reflect anything or you want to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly ask questions, kindly share and reflect or comment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Just an observation, reflection. It's interesting that the baby is counting the number of months or days. It's something that I've never considered, the consciousness or the level of intelligence there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very beautiful reflection. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, any other questions, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you for the slides that you shared and sent earlier, which are quite, descriptive about how the whole process is, about the suffering of the fetus in the mother's womb. Prabhuji, my question is, if the mother is listening to Krishna Katha when she's pregnant and she is eating sattvic food, is the suffering of the child, of the baby in the womb reduced?
That happened to Prahlad Maharaj. So in other way, yes, I think baby from the 7th month onwards, as the consciousness is developed, if mother is hearing Krishna Katha, baby responds. We hear from even Abhimanyu in the womb of Subhadra, and when Arjuna was speaking about Padma, Padma Vyuha, baby was responding. So at that time, later on, Krishna comes and then stops. So because that baby who is taking birth, he is meant to live only for 16 years, who is the son of moon god, and he is meant to leave this material world after 16 years. So Krishna was guarding. So so here baby hears, yes. Hare Krishna.
And also, Prabhuji, Sukadeva Goswami was in the same position because he refused to come out of the womb for 16 years. So he was scared of what would entail. So is that position similar?
Sorry, Mataji. Can anyone answer, Mataji, please? Just cough.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I can
Hare
always ask this
Krishna.
another time.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I think if you think about it, okay, every living entity comes with their karma, but and the trauma they go through. I can remember I used to be a midwife. The trauma, you see the child when they come out, how frightened and shocked they are to come into this world. But I think if the mother is actually preparing that child with soothing, beautiful, spiritual way of being, bringing them up in that way, gradually when you read to the child, it respond, and there is evidence to show that they respond. So the mother is helping that child. They come with the kind of karma that you will go to that mother who has got that gift. And so they will develop that spiritual way of thinking. And gradually, if you watch a child grow, how the mother nurture that child, and the father, of course, and the way they bring them up, you can see the difference in the upbringing than a person who doesn't know much about these things or didn't want to tap into it. There's definitely a difference in the way of their lives. And of course, the karma adds to how they process in life, gradually what they get and what they don't get. And but you see some children come out from the most horrific background and they shine, because I remember as a child, there was a family who were very, very poor. The children were walking around naked sometimes. They had enough money and they had like 14 kids. But they shone later on because the love was there, and they did things together. The whole family did things together. And they didn't go to church as other people, but they practiced goodness in their own way. So I think there are evidence to show that if you actually nurture the child from young and promote that goodness in them, they turn out to be a lot more different than the ordinary upbringing. If that's helpful.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Any other questions, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for nicely explaining. We don't get to hear often these kind of explanations, but it's amazing how devotees who know the procedure, the process of the baby suffering in the womb, still have children. So I know that sometimes we say that we are doing a good thing, bringing these children to the world and training them in Krishna consciousness so that they get delivered. They don't come again. But when we see the suffering, it's not only the child who suffers, it's a mother suffers as well.
Yes.
Right. So is it still good to bring children in the world, or no? What do you think?
One way, it is giving an opportunity to the new souls to get them liberated. That is one aspect. And from the baby angle, he doesn't want to come out. But there are innumerable souls who are entangled. So again, mother also get whenever Dhruv Maharaj was gone to back to Godhead, Suniti, his mother also gone to back to Godhead. So that is how both mother and also baby both will be liberated. It's a service.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I understand it's a big service.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, the big sacrifice.
Exactly.
But sometimes, in the world, what is going around now, parents sometimes they're deceived by their children. Sometimes they're disappointed. But what to do? Parents have to carry on. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful points. Okay, any other questions, dear devotees? This is the place to ask. So, Sabhya Hasmita Bhadram Vaha Ya Sadhvo Iha Gataha. There, Prudu Maharaj says, if you are speaking, speak among the devotees. Speak among the devotees. That he stresses that point. Anyone, the devotees, it is when we speak to some materialistic people, discussions, it does not have any value. So of course, to give Krishna consciousness, that is, but for discussions, it is the right place. Okay, so Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, just an additional kind of reflection on about bringing children into this world, having children, and I was just thinking about Ganga, and I think it is Shantanu, Ganga and Shantanu, where grandfather Bhishma obviously was the survivor, but all the other souls, for whatever reason, somehow had made a pact with Ganga that I'll be born in your womb, and as soon as I come out, please send me back. In other words, that's why she kind of put the children in the water to return them back. It was just obviously bringing children into this world is quite a big commitment. I think Srila Prabhupada said, as long as if you do it and you make them Krishna conscious, then it will benefit the world and the child. This is for Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, so this is before we come into existence, there are pre-arrangement. This is Karamana Dhaiva Netrena. Previous arrangement is there. But outside, Shantanu was not aware of all those things until Ganga Mata was revealing their secrets. But
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, they were the 8 Vasus, and they committed sin against, offenses against Kapila Muni, and they were cursed. But the one who was stealing the cow of Kapila Muni, he was Bhishma Dev. He was the one. So that's why he stayed for longer. And also, at the same time, Ganga Devi was cursed in the assembly of Brahmaji. While there was a yagna, and Ganga Devi was there, she was looking at Santanu, who was another by the name of, what was his name? I know, I forgot the name. Anyway.
Dilip, huh?
Sorry?
Is that Dilip Mataji?
No, he's not Dilip. Pratapa. So what happened then? They were cursed to come to this material world. Ganga Devi, she remembered everything, whereas the king, he came as Santanu, and he did not remember anything. And then when Ganga Devi was coming down, at the same time, the 8 Vasus were cursed by Kapil Dev Muni, and they were coming also. And seeing their distress, Ganga Devi asked about the problem. Then they revealed the problem, and Ganga Devi said, okay, I'm going down also, so don't worry, I will help you. But the one who had orchestrated that act, like stealing the cow of the Muni, he will be staying for longer. That's why Bhishma Dev stayed for 440 something years in this material world. But the other one, as soon as they were born, they were put in Ganga water itself. So you were liberated, you go back. That was a promise she made to the 7 other children. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, just to just add something or question something. Does that also kind of indicate that we choose our parents because the children chose the womb of Ganga Devi or to take birth in order to accomplish their aim? Just a question there. That we choose our parents in some way, shape, or form? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I think as long as that choosing the father and mother plus Daiva Netrena, and if it is, if Lord is arranging us to go to particular set of father and mother, then under that one, if there are multiple things, then a living entity may choose.
It depends on the karma also, what kind of karma we are doing, what kind of parents we are going to get. We got similar parents, so that we can enjoy or suffer the karma. That is also there.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Is there anywhere in the Shastras it says that many births are restricted? Because Krishna conscious movement actually recommend 1 or 2 children, isn't that right?
Children, Prabhupada mentions, if you are able to have sense gratification, if you are able to give birth to children, as many children you can give if they are Krishna consciousness, if you raise them on to, otherwise don't become a father and mother.
All right, yeah.
You can
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, in Rishabhadevi he gives in the now you should not be a guru, you could not be a father and mother unless you deliver your children. Okay. Hundreds are there, Rishabhadevi. Guru Nasyar.
Thank you.
Guru Nasyar Swajano Nasasyat. And then Pita Nasasyat, Janini Nasasyat, Daivim Natasyan, Napatishya Sasyan. So Namochayadyaha Samupetya Mrityam. If you are not able to protect the child from the path of repeated birth and death, one who cannot deliver his dependence from path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or worshipable demigod. So, but if you are able to do it, like Rishabhadev has given birth to 100 children, all became great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, any other questions, dear devotees? Okay, there are no questions. Maybe we shall conclude our session for tonight and see you next Friday. Thank you so much. परितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Jai.
Srila
Prabhupada ki jai.
We say 3 Hari Bols to Prabhuji, please. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, for
Thank you,
the
Prabhuji.
class. Hare
Excellent
Krishna,
class.
everyone.
Hari Bol, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank